Coach, how are you assessing the spring so far after this?
You come out of these things sometimes and you're trying to figure out which side of the ball, if somebody has a good day, is the other side really struggling or where it's at. But I've been extremely pleased with the attitude, the effort, the work ethic of this team, embracing what we're setting as standards. Got a lot of work to do yet. We got a lot to clean up in some things in critical times, but 12 practices in, I'm very pleased where we're at.
How difficult is it with all these new faces trying to get it?
It's been unique. I really got to thank our staff and commend them for the job they've done. I think not only just what the guys have done on the field, but how they fit into the locker room. A lot of times guys go into the portal and transfer for different reasons. Probably most frequently is a new opportunity to play a little more. And these guys have come in and understood that opportunity is here, but at the same time they have to earn it by working hard and doing things. And they've been able to do that. We see guys that are going to contribute, and I think they fit in very nicely.
Do you like the way the offensive coordinator and all the offenses are?
Yeah, I think Jim Zabrowski's done a nice job. I think the input that he has, Matt Lubick, who had been with us before in an analyst role, and I think they're working extremely well together, as well the other offensive assistants. I like what we're doing and our continuity and identity of what we want to be. Still where who and what is going to be all those playmakers will still be determined through camp. I think DK McDonald's done a great job on the defensive side, really establishing a standard of play and physicality of what we want to be, and holding our guys to that standard each and every day of how we're going to go about and attack the field. And again, the changes that we've made a little in schematics, I think the guys have picked up well. And again, it's only 12 practices, and we're going to need everyone as we head into that opener against Fresno.
Hannigan said the defensive line has a chance to be the engine of this team. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, I think the way, especially when when you have two defensive line coaches, Jim's talking mainly at his position, probably at D tackle, because there's experienced guys there, and we've had four guys that have played some football for us, and the way they've played has been exciting, and it should be. I always say, probably the positions we talk about the least sometimes are offense and defensive line, but that's where you win games and championships.
There's a lot of coaching going on right now, and coaches being the leaders in different rooms, but who have you seen emerge as leaders so far?
Yeah, that's one of those things when, there's some similarities like when we first got here where coaches got to do a lot of the leading until we get those things that are established. Again, a lot of the new guys come in here are just trying to figure out routine and expectations. Hard for them to be leaders, but there's some guys emerging. I think Taylor Davis is taking a step in the back end of the secondary. Bryce Foster. Kobe Baines has really tried to put himself out there a little bit more. Deshaun Hanukkah, with his maturity and everything that he's battled, he's a guy that we rely on there. Daniel Highshaw has stepped up, and some of these guys, they haven't really been comfortable in some of those roles, and it's great to see them do that. Jalen's really hasn't done a whole lot this spring, but Cole Ballard, as we've talked many times before, has great leadership qualities and has that charisma that instantly gives guys in the locker room that kind of respect when he speaks. So I think we're pretty good there. We mentioned the defensive tackles before. I think DJ Withers is one of those guys. Dean Miller missed some time with illness, but he's worked hard there. We're going to continue to work on, Bengali Kamara is probably one that's going to need to step up vocally for us at that second level position.
And how are you guys preparing for potential roster cap numbers at 105 with the NCAA settlement on Monday?
Yeah, I know Chris has talked about it over in Manhattan, and we're still looking for that direction as we're getting closer and closer with everything being settled. What are the parameters of this? And you want to give yourself the best opportunity to have 105 bodies to start the season, at the same time making sure that you're being honest with the young men and where their futures may lie. Our guys going to want their degree from the University of Kansas, and that's no matter what happens, or our guys going to look for other opportunities. We did have some leave that semester, and we did have a couple walk-ons that got scholarships places after leaving, and with this coming down the road, and we understood that, and we tried to help and aid them in that. But it's not what we'd really like, and I think it's been said, if we could have gradually cut this down, I think it would have been easier to phase in, because we got a lot of guys that pay their own way, work extremely hard, and love the game of football and love being in Lawrence, Kansas.
And where are you guys at number-wise with the roster right now?
You know, with the newcomers that we have slotted come in, I think we're going to be just slightly over 110 right now is where it's at. So, you know, and again, when we have another portal window, we have to kind of see where things are at. So that'll be something that we're going to sort through. And again, hoping to get that direction of where that's going to be. Are there going to be slots that you can fill based on injury? What will be that number that, you know, right now we're being told that 105 is by the week or by first game. So what does that really entail? And again, I think everybody wants to stay competitively balanced and not be behind in some of these areas. So we'll have to kind of see what kind of precedent set.
It's about 2/3 of the spring done. Where are you guys at health-wise?
You know, probably not exactly where I'd like it to be. We lost more guys. We didn't go live today. We're a little bit more banged up at running back than I'd like right now, with about 3-4 guys out. So, but you know, I think we have total about 8 out right now. So, you know, it's probably par for what you normally go through. I haven't compared it to past years, but we also took a look. We're right on course for the amount of live snaps that we've done in this program in our previous springs, and probably have had more success in our thud periods than we have in previous years. So I feel good about that and what we're getting accomplished. And I hope that right now we can get everyone back here even as we head down the road, other than the ones that have had surgery. Anybody else?
How's Jalen coming along?
Jalen's coming along well. He's starting to throw more and do some things, moving around. He's getting anxious, I can tell. But I tell you what, you know, unfortunately, you know, we all know the road he's kind of gone through. He's done a great job of taking the mental reps and staying engaged and being encouraging and be the leader that he is. And everything will be on course as when we hit summer workouts, that he'll be 100%.
That's the coach.
All right.